Greg Gutfeld of Fox News just said that the Supreme Court's rulings on guns and abortion in 1 week is nothing less than the Super Bowl of liberal meltdowns. We're going to look at those meltdowns together as we continue to celebrate our conservative victory. Great to see all of you on a Saturday. Dr. Steve here with you guys. I'm out here on my porch, savoring the fruits of victory with a fine Partagas cigar. It's a nice, lovely cigar, and I just thought we'd have some fun celebrating together on this beautiful post-Roe Saturday, the first of many, many more post-Roe Saturdays to come. So if you don't have something to celebrate with, let me go ahead, pause that video, get some fine glass of wine, a scotch, a beer, whatever you fancy, and I'll wait and come on back here and we'll celebrate together. There are two big stories as of today, obviously interrelated. The one, of course, is the night of rage that has spawned insurrection throughout our nation. And the other is the mass number of abortion clinics closing across the country. Let's start with that one first, since it's the fruit of our victory. It is being widely reported now that abortion clinics are already closing down throughout red states all across the nation. You may have heard that Missouri was the first state to activate their so-called trigger laws. There are 18 laws that currently have what are called trigger laws. These are laws that are set to immediately ban all or nearly all abortions that would be triggered if Roe were suddenly overturned. And so all it requires is the signature of the Attorney General for it to go into effect. So the Attorney General of Missouri was the first official to sign the law that effectively puts it into effect. And as a result, Missouri became the first state in the nation to effectively ban abortion. Texas soon followed. Ken Paxton, their Attorney General. In fact, Paxton has declared that June 24th is now an official holiday in Texas, as I'm sure it will be in many, many red states. In Alabama, Attorney General Steve Marshall ordered abortion clinics in the state to cease and desist operations within hours after the Roe v. Wade ruling. All three of the remaining abortion clinics in the state have ceased to operate as of yesterday. In Louisiana, it's the same thing. All three of their remaining abortion clinics are now officially closed, including the only clinic in New Orleans that provides abortions. They closed their doors within about 2 hours of the court's ruling. South Dakota as well. Planned Parenthood in Arkansas has confirmed that all scheduled abortions have been canceled. And in Wisconsin's a fascinating situation. Wisconsin has a 173-year-old abortion ban, okay? Wisconsin was a completely pro-life state up until Roe was handed down in 1973. Well, now that ban has just gone back into effect. All of their abortion clinics have closed. And what their ultra-leftist governor tried to do, he's a radical, woke leftist Democrat, embarrassingly so. What he tried to do was to get the Republican-dominated state legislature to come together in a special session to pass a law that would make abortion legal. But the Republican legislators refused. And so now abortion is officially illegal in Wisconsin. So there are already reports that states like Illinois and Minnesota are getting this mass influx of women crossing the Wisconsin state line to get their abortion. So we're already beginning to see a very definite red state, blue state divide here, where pundits are speculating if we're going to be seeing something akin to a mass flight of leftist liberals from red states because their sacrament, abortion, has finally been taken away from them. So abortion clinics are closing up all across the nation in red state after red state. And so needless to say, the woke left is in full meltdown mode. As you saw earlier in this video, the Arizona Capitol has been shut down. The state Senate had to go into recess because of these insurrectionists who are trying to overthrow a duly elected Arizona legislator. Antifa thugs have been seen burning American flags in D.C., all as thousands of protesters have surrounded the Supreme Court building, chanting, "F the court, F the court." You got the Dane County District Attorney in Wisconsin saying out loud that he refuses to enforce Wisconsin's abortion ban. You've got the borderline illiterate Alexandra Ocasio-Cortez calling the Supreme Court's overturning of Roe, quote, illegitimate, whatever that means, right? The decision was illegitimate. and that we now need to take to the streets because, quote, elections aren't enough. I mean, that sounds pretty insurrectionist to me, doesn't it? Maxine Waters, Maxine Waters, she said, quote, the hell with the Supreme Court. We will defy them. How is that not all insurrectionist? And yet, lo and behold, literally just like that, all the insurrectionist talk from the mainstream media disappeared as of yesterday. I mean, you've got Democrat after Democrat out there calling for civil unrest, calling to reject the Supreme Court, calling on, this major legal institution in our nation, calling on women, whatever that is, by the way. I have yet to see a coherent liberal definition, to civil disobedience everywhere across the nation. And that topic that has been supposedly so central to the preservation of our republic, the insurrection that almost toppled our democracy and replaced it with a Viktor Orban autocracy, all of that rhetoric that for weeks now has been so indispensable to the preservation of our republic suddenly disappeared. It's gone. That's your legacy media. No wonder they are the single most distrusted media outlet in the entire world, at least among 40 plus nations that were surveyed. Did you know that? Right? We've done a video on it. A survey came out a few months back that found that the U.S. media, the legacy media, out of 46, 47 countries, was the single most distrusted media outlet in the world. They're literally so pathetic, and we can see why as of this weekend. Now, I gotta say, I'm sorry, but my delight, my joy, my gratification, my bliss rises with every meltdown. Like Gutfeld said, this really is the Super Bowl of woke leftist meltdown, and it is colossally glorious. I've never really seen anything quite like it before. I've got to say, on my personal Facebook page, I've got like 2,500 friends, right? 2,500 friends out there. And I would estimate that, say, I don't know, about 2% are wokey. They're almost all old high school friends. God bless them. We all grew up in very, very liberal, very deep blue Connecticut. So 2,500 friends or so, and about 2% are all leftists. But I gotta say, over the last 24 hours, it's been that 2% who've been the most hysterical on my personal Facebook page. I'd post something celebrating the ruling, and these leftist acquaintances of mine are literally triggered into meltdown mode. It's sad. It's sad, to be honest. Here we basically haven't talked in 30 years. And the only thing they can think to say from the first time we talked is some contentious woke nonsense. It's sad. But it did make me think, against the backdrop of these insurrectionist hostilities going on all across the country, the night of rage, it reminded me of how scholars have noted that ideology and activism are now the religion and ritual for a highly secularized population. Jordan Peterson calls ideologies crippled religions. Isn't that? I love that. They're crippled religions. Ideologies are religious belief, but they're missing an eye, and they've got a withered hand and half a leg. They're zombified substitutes for historic and traditional belief. And then these pseudo-religions are expressed through rituals. And the ritual, the ideologically woke, of course, is activism. Activism is the new ritual. So woke cultural Marxist ideology is the new religion in this secular theocracy. And wokeism is the new religion, and activism is the new corporate ritual. So we're seeing over this weekend, we've got processions, right? We call them marches, I guess. We've got congregational gatherings around sacred spaces like the Supreme Court building. We got sacred chants like no justice, no peace, or F the Supreme Court. We've got icons, right? The sacred symbols like the picket signs and pink hats and the different images that they carry around with them. You even have a kind of excommunication, which of course is cancel culture. And so what we're seeing erupt around our nation today are the rituals of a very deformed, diabolical, warped religion, which in the end proves that far from evolving past religion, we just substitute one for another. We got rid of a religion that provided the moral and social foundations for a civilization that lasted for more than 1,000 years, and that produced a literature and art and architecture and music and poetry and drama and politics and economy, the likes of which has never since been seen or paralleled. We got rid of that unarguably astonishing religion and replaced it with a religion of grievance and envy and hatred, expressed in rituals of burning cars, pink hats, and kindergarten-level slogans. But as we can see, as we're all celebrating, those days are indeed coming to an end. Roe v. Wade has been overturned. Abortion clinics are closing permanently across the nation. And secular worshipers are weeping and gnashing their teeth in their macabre rituals, crying out to a woke God that doesn't exist. So I'm going to keep enjoying my victory cigar here, but make sure to check out my latest video on the J6 committee imploding as they have suspended live hearings for the indefinite future. Surprise, surprise, right? You're not going to want to miss it. So make sure to click on that link and I will see you over there. God bless. Enjoy your Saturday.